Thanks, Lloyd. Yeah, so we were talking about the rise in insider threats, how it's kind of on the rise. But the external or ransomware threats are not dying down at all. So just today I was reading that within the South African region alone, there has been 300% increase in ransomware attacks in just in the last 12 months. But only 70% of the Microsoft data has been protected, right? So that's where we kind of come in, and we are able to provide the data resiliency strategy around your M365 platform. So we have been doing backup, archival, data security posture management on the Microsoft area. On the left-hand side, you can see that. So we also cover other hyperscalers like AWS, Salesforce, and Google. So we protect all these kind of data, and in terms of our ideology is to make sure that we cover or provide resilience around all the areas which a typical employee would work, right? So if you are, let's say you are a finance director or a IT manager, most likely you will be interacting with all these systems, right? You might come into your work, you might start working with a partner, create a contract, which is where you might be sending a DocuSign request and it might be coming back. You might start creating your own projects, either it is Monday.com or your Jira, and then you start interacting with Entra or Okta within your environment. So all these hyperscalers and multi-cloud is something which we interact on a day-to-day basis, right? So we cover all these areas in terms of data protection. Just to give you an idea about some of the typical areas where you are able to relate to. So the first one is in terms of the single pane of glass, right? So as an admin team, when you come in, you can see in one single pane of glass what are the protected areas in my system across my environment, right? And where are the threats? Where am I seeing the threats? How much data is being created? How much data is being protected? All those areas is something which we can do. And also create the data security posture management on a daily basis for you, right? It's not like a quarterly exercise. On a daily basis, you are able to say that, okay, this is my security score. This is where I'm lagging. This is why I need to communicate to the data owners so they can fix it for us, right? And the other area is in terms of, okay, so we have petabytes of data. Do we need all the petabytes of the data in the main estate? Or can we move to an archive location where, one, we are able to gather the cost associated with it, right? So we are able to optimize the cost. And more than that, it is in terms of the reducing the surface area or the attack surface area, right? You want to have only the data which is being used on a day-to-day basis rather than just data which was created like 10 years ago, right? You probably don't need that. And also in terms of, okay, we have found out all these issues, so how do we fix it? How do we fix it at scale? How do we fix it in a way that you provide that authority to the data owner to fix it? That is where we have the automatic remediation or the configuration drift related solutions as well. Just to show you some of the application screenshots. So this is where you as a IT provider can come in and see, okay, these are the kind of the clouds which we protect or the SaaS solutions which we protect, and what is the protected size, what's the monthly cost, what are the risks. You're seeing everything in one single pane of glass. And we are able to also provide the recommendations to make sure that you're able to back it up much quicker, right? So we also integrate with the Microsoft native backup features, right? So we are able to provide that ability to restore in case there is a ransomware attack and you want your CEO's office mailbox to be restored within few minutes rather than few days, right? We are able to integrate with the native Microsoft feature where we can restore at 1 to 3 terabytes per hour, right? So that's where we are able to provide an ability for you to bring back your minimum viable business rather than just, okay, there is a ransomware attack. Who needs your mailbox? Who needs the OneDrive much quicker? Rather than that, you have a pre-prepared plan saying that this is my minimum viable business I need to bring back within 2 hours of some ransomware attack. And we are able to provide that kind of a framework where you are able to bring back your business much quicker. And in terms of the configuration, it's pretty straightforward. It's almost like a zero touch. You're able to configure it to run 4 times a day. And then in terms of the initial activities, this could be internal or external threat, right? There could be a person who has been terminated for disciplinary reasons within the organization. And suddenly you see there's a lot of data, a lot of files in their OneDrive or in SharePoint or in Exchange being deleted, right? So you need to catch that much quicker, right? Maybe there is a ransomware attack, a malicious file which is getting synced from their OneDrive back to the cloud. You need to detect all those things. That is where we are able to detect and notify. And we also have the backups in an immutable format so that you cannot tamper with it, right? You're able to bring back much quicker. You're also able to bring back the data at a granular level. So I've lost one document which I created for the last quarterly results. I deleted it by mistake. It's been 90 days, so the recycle bin does not have that particular file. I want it so that I can prepare my next quarterly report, right? So that's where we are able to bring back one document, one email which you might have lost or you might have deleted by mistake, like which you can't recover back. And in terms of the risk posture, so we are able to provide how many external users are there in your tenant, right? This is, as I said, it's also applicable if you are using Google. So in this example, we are showing Microsoft, but it is also applicable for Google. We can do those kind of activities as well. So how many external anonymous links do you have in your tenant? What are the risks, right? So that is what we are able to identify, and we are able to provide an exposure, right? So there might be one document which is related to the compensation of all the employees, but that is accessible only to 4 people in the HR department. That is fine, right? It is highly sensitive document, but it is not exposed. But there might be another file related to Azure credentials or whatever. The IT team might have a OneNote or something, and suddenly it gets shared with everyone in the organization. That is also risky and sensitive, but it is exposed, right? So we are able to overlay the sensitivity and the exposure to determine the overall risk and highlight exactly. If you click on that 142 number, you will exactly know what files have that and what is the highly risk item which is there. The other aspect is, let's say you're rolling out Copilot or any other AI technology. You want to know what permissions does a particular user has on my tenant, right? In this case, I'm saying John Peluso is the CTO or the IT director. I want to identify what access does he have on my tenant. So I put in his name, I search for that, and I know exactly what files, what SharePoint sites, what emails, whatever they have access to is able to be identified. And these are the kind of ability on a per file basis. You can see what are the activities. You can notify the data owner if you feel that it has sensitive data. Now, in this case, it's saying that, okay, there is a very, very sensitive file which was previewed and accessed by Jeffrey and Joe. We are also able to track what IP addresses, where did they access. All this information is very, very useful when you are looking at a highly sensitive document which might have been shared outside, right? In this case, what we are also able to do is, okay, this is sensitive, but what is sensitive? What did you find out, right? So that's what we are saying, that, okay, it has found out some credit card numbers, bank account numbers. It is shared with 2 large Microsoft Entra groups which has more than 20 users. Now, all these things can be customized and defined by you. So finally, as I said, we cover a lot of areas within the multi-cloud, which is mentioned in the bottom. So one of the areas we covered is data resiliency. We cover data governance, data security as well. So come and speak to us. We are just outside, and we'll be more than happy to explain what we have on our offer. Thank you so much.